What inspired you to start fighting for human rights?
What inspired me was the suffering I saw in my community. I saw families losing their land and their dignity. I could not remain silent because silence would mean accepting injustice. My father and my people taught me the value of defending life, so I chose to fight with words and peace, not with weapons. Correction, what inspired you to start fighting for human rights?
How was your life when you was a child?
When I was a child, life was very simple but full of challenges. I grew up in the mountains in a humble family. We worked the land, and I learned early what it means to be part of a community. I also witnessed injustices that my family and others faced. This gave me strength to later stand up for our rights. Correction? How was your life when you were a child?
What was the biggest challenge in your life?
One of the greatest challenges was losing members of my family to violence. It was painful, but it taught me resilience. I also faced the challenge of being a woman and indigenous in a world that often didn't listen to us. Yet, those challenges gave me a voice and the courage to speak for others. Correction, what was the biggest challenge in your life?
Why is it important to protect indigenous cultures?
It is important because indigenous cultures hold ancient wisdom. We protect the earth, languages, and traditions that are part of humanity. When these cultures are lost, the world loses diversity and balance. Protecting them means protecting the dignity and rights of all people. Correction? Why is it important to protect indigenous culture?
How do you feel when people listen to your message?
When people listen, I feel hope. I feel that our stories have meaning and that change is possible. Each person who listens can become part of the solution. It is a step toward justice, and it reminds me we are not alone. Correction, how do you feel when people listen to your message?
What advice do you give to young leaders today?
I advise young leaders to listen to their communities. Stay connected to the people you serve. Be humble and persistent, even when it's difficult. Seek justice with peace and compassion. Most of all, never forget your roots. Correction, what advice do you give to young leaders today?
Do you think the world is more fair now than before?
In some ways, we have made progress. More people know about human rights now. Yet, inequality still exists, and we must keep working. Fairness is not automatic. It requires action. I believe we can make the world fairer if we don't give up. Correction, do you think the world is more fair now than before?
What helped you to be strong in difficult moments?
What helped me was remembering my purpose. I thought of my family, my people, and the future. Even in pain, I knew that silence was not an option. I drew strength from the love I felt for the land and the community. We find strength when we remember what we are fighting for. Correction? What helped you to be strong in difficult moments?
How can we help people in our communities?
We can help by listening to their needs first. We can work together, not just for them but with them. Offer your time, your hands, and your voice when others cannot speak. Defend fairness and dignity in small actions every day. Correction? How can we help people in our communities?
And finally, what is your biggest dream for the future?
My biggest dream is that all people live in dignity and peace. I dream that indigenous cultures are respected and cherished. I want future generations to have a safe world with justice for everyone. My hope is that we walk this path together, hand in hand. Correction, what is your biggest dream for the future?
Thank you, Rigoberta, for your time. It was a pleasure.